Hi Scorpio, thanks for joining me for your October reading. I'm Madeline, if we haven't met before. So before we get into your cards, I want to talk to you about the channeled message that Spirit came through with you right off the bat, which was just simply the phrase, lean in. And they were giving me after that, it was really funny. They were showing me, like, it's October, by the way. Happy birthday, October Scorpios. And be you an October Scorpio or a November Scorpio, October is kind of a scorpionic time, right? Like transition, it's spooky, right? Now's the time, like for all of that, the veil is thin. And Spirit is saying, yeah, like the veil is thin, pierce that shit. Like you're right there, so go ahead and lean in. And so as they were giving this to me, just in a channeled sort of way, they were like, okay, now pick up the deck, now pull an additional card for Scorpio because this is more of what we want to talk about. So, be the Fool this month, Scorpio. We have a whole other deck of cards over here to talk about, but your channeled message of lean in, and I love that this happened to be the deck that we would have pulled the Fool, because in this particular version of the card, we have your symbol. The alternative other Scorpio symbol, besides the scorpion itself, is the eagle. So, what does this mean? In this card, the Fool is about to stumble off the cliff as he's looking at the rising sun. And an eagle surveys all of this. An eagle who's hanging out real close to the Fool, which eagles don't tend to hang out with things unless it's like, we're chill, or I'm trying to eat you. And this one's pretty at rest, so I don't think he's trying to go after the Fool. They're telling me, you need to know that tumbling into something, going for something that you really want, doesn't make you an idiot. But you do have to be foolish. And when I say that, they're bringing to me one of my favorite quotes from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus. If you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Now, here's where the secure part comes in for you, because I know that security is important to you, Scorpio. Your eagle eye is still going to be very much in play. You can lean in to this thing that you want to do or create or have without it being perfect. You're going to fall and scrape your knee. You're going to fuck up. You're going to have days where it's like, ugh, I'm writing and nothing is coming out that I like. Or like I keep sending out applications and like, where is the result? Like, don't stop yourself out of any kind of fear or pride. Now is the time to be putting things into practice. Now is the time to be going for it. Now is the time when they were showing me all the spooky stuff in October and it's like scorpionic time. Lean into your particular fucking high weirdness, your particular groove, your particular quirk. Okay? I'm not going to belabor this with a bunch of other quotes and aphorisms and things, but I will just say that that thing that the big they, say, like, that nobody else can be you and nobody else can do it like you, and conversely, you cannot do it like anybody else. That's a really true thing, and your light can only come shining out when you are like, this is my particular light. I'm not trying to put, fucking Lana Del Rey lens over it, or a whoever, like, insert fave here. Like, you don't have to be Hemingway to be a writer. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Lean in. Be the Fool. Be content to be thought foolish and stupid in going for your thing. Your eagle eye will be looking out for you. Can circle, tell you what's up, tell you what's ahead. You know what? You're going to walk into a bramble bush, but it's worth it because what's on the other side of that is something that we want. So let's do it. Okay? Okay. Now, let's jump in and see how your cards play with your channeled message. Keeping in mind that the Fool is kind of like your compass for this month. Hey, there you are, seeking adventure. Okay, Scorpio. Wow. You've had two cards already show up in your spread that jumped out while I was doing your like pre-shuffling ritual where I'm just tuning into your people, getting those channeled messages. A little bit of conflict. A few cases where it would benefit you to be the Fool. In fact, it might bring you a fucking victory. Focus. Focus and what you focus on is really important also this month, okay? You have some really great cards at the center of your spread, and then you have some conflict around that, and we're going to talk about it. The great cards. Two of Pentacles balanced and crossed by the Two of Wands. The twos are the first signs of being on the path. Two of Pentacles is bringing things into balance. I feel like some of you need to be, rather, are focused on and would benefit from continuing to focus on how do I make a little more money? Little at a time. I only say little because it's like slow and sustainable growth is what Spirit is really showing me here with these three key point cards. You have the Two of Pentacles at the center, so sort of the starting point. And then in the position called where you find yourself, we have the Page of Pentacles. So you having something in your hand already. Is this a job opportunity? These are general readings, right, Scorpio? So in one way or another, there's the gift / opportunity of money or skill, right? So time, effort, abilities, these are all pentacle things. You have the beginning of something really fantastic that if you put in a little more research, if you put in a little more work, if you have that willingness to have a student mentality, a student mindset, meaning very much connected to what Spirit was saying earlier about like if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. You know how much we all resent people who think they know it all and how rare it is to meet a know-it-all who actually really does seem to know it all. That's what they're talking about. A student mentality doesn't mean like accepting that look like you know nothing or whatever. It's more like there's always more to learn, and I benefit from being flexible. I benefit from being willing to be like, okay, I have these three other skills in place, but if I added this fourth one, if I took this online course or whatever to get this other thing that I know would benefit me, like I know I could make more money. I know I could apply for like this upper echelon of the same field that I'm in. And these are the kinds of things that they're saying, okay? Because the key / conclusion to your reading is the Knight of Pentacles. So that's a really nice like upward trajectory. Two of Pentacles, stepping all the way up to the Page, the one who takes control, who grabs the pentacle and goes, what can I make with this? I'm not just going to spend this. And that's the other thing, okay? So for some of you, Spirit is very deliberately, mundanely speaking about your money. I'm not going to spend this extra money, this gift. Maybe some of you are getting like birthday money or something like that. And it's like, rather than, you know, not squander, but, you know, spend this on maybe something cool or something that's going to give me short-term happiness, I'm going to invest this in myself. You know what I'm saying? Just something to take for those of you for whom that resonates. But the beginning of something, and something that could turn out really wonderful, even if it is, gosh, some of you, it's like you have this passion and you know it's a lot to take on. Some of you have been fighting for it already for a long time. Seven of Wands is one of those cards that leapt out while I was shuffling. The Five of Swords over the top of your reading is another. So Seven of Wands, this is interesting, but for some of you, they're saying this is like family fighting. It's like, oh my God, like too many cooks in the kitchen. Like everybody please just like shut up and let me like breathe, let me think. So if you're feeling a little bit like that, Scorpio, I'm going to give you the good news and the bad news, okay? And there's both. I don't feel like that's quite over yet, but I feel like you're reaching a point where it is going to come to like its zenith or its like boiling point, depending on the kind of thing that you're dealing with. And for others of you, that this is that project that you've been fighting for, this thing that you've been like fucking going for, defending, trying to find time for, trying to figure out, trying to get complete. Here's what Spirit is advising for those of you that are like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't even know how, like with all these conflicting voices or ideas or desires that I have, and these are all the things they're saying. They're bringing me back to the Fool. They're bringing me to this Three of Cups that is sitting on the bottom of your reading. They're telling me, like, are you having fun with it anymore? Are you getting satisfaction alternatively from it anymore? Let's just say this is, for a lot of you, this is what I'm feeling, like a creative project, or like your job itself may have to do with your creativity or your activism, like, because these are wands, right? So this is the passion, the spirit, the soul, the inspiration. Are you still having fun with it? Are you still allowing yourself to like make it a little bit of an adventure? The Fool, right? And Three of Cups, joy, fun, celebration. It feels like some of you have, like, this is interesting, but Spirit is like, you know, it's not by accident that the cards with this very similar imagery of, like, basically a god and a goddess, like, coming and being like, well, in one case, like, kind of, look at what you've done, in the case of the Five of Swords, and in another case, like, look at what you can do. That's funny, but that's what they just said. Look at what you've done, and look at what you can do. The Five of Swords can sometimes indicate being a little bit myopic, being maybe a little bit vengeful, or a little bit petty, selfish. I'm not judging you, neither is Spirit. We know when we're in a Five of Swords mode, when it's like, I'll cut off my nose to spite my face. You ever heard that expression, Scorpio, where maybe we feel hurt or triggered by somebody, and then we say or do something really hurtful because we're just like, whoosh, like it's a primal, like, nah, like, and we maybe say something that we can't take back, or we ghost them, or we give them the cold shoulder. You might be encountering a little bit of that from the outside, or you might be tempted yourself to do a little bit of that, and I would advise you not to. I would advise you to think about what you have. Okay? Seven of Cups. Focus. Focus. And the Seven of Cups is also a card for dreams. So it's like you can still have fun with this thing. Don't limit yourself, is what I'm hearing. Don't limit yourself, and I also just want to give you the one little bit of advice or warning for those of you that do feel like maybe you're being the one who's a little bit, you know, selfish, or a little bit like cutting off other people. You might be abandoning other people because you are experiencing a little bit of the reverb of abandonment issues of your own. So, again, not an accusation or a judgment, Scorpio. It's more like, am I continuing a legacy of feeling abandoned by abandoning other people? And by that, you know, by very nature of that, that means that in some cases I'm abandoning myself. Meaning, let me just give you an example. If I'm interacting with somebody and they are consistently making me feel violated in some way, like some, you know, not even an extreme way, just like they say they're going to be here at this time and then they're always late, like always, and maybe like always egregiously late or whatever, or, you know, they say they're going to come through on this and then they don't. And like, when that happens, Spirit is asking you to kind of regard yourself and be like, okay, what do I need to do right now? Do I need to tell this person, like, hey man, like, I really want to hang out with you, but I also have to, like, get this thing done afterwards, so, like, if you could make it by 3 o'clock for real, like, that would be great. You know? Like, rather than letting, you know, not saying anything, and I have some Scorpio placement, Scorpio, so also I am not speaking from a high horse, I promise. Like, maybe not saying anything, and then when they get there at, you know, 3:45 or 4 o'clock, you know, just being fucking Five of Swords and, like, giving them hell without telling them why, like, or maybe giving them hell and telling them why, but it's like it's too late. They didn't have a chance to remedy their behavior before knowing that you were about to, like, explode. It's not your nature to normally, like, maybe keep things that reserved and then explode, but I feel just like it might not even be explode. It might just, like, I say one thing and the most, you know, I didn't even raise my voice, but damn, like, they're decimated. You know that you have the potential and the ability to do that, Scorpio. You can cut somebody off at the knees, even though you're at the same time cutting off your own nose to spite your face. Because you say it, and then they're hurt, they're destroyed, they're decimated, whatever they're experiencing, and you're like, ah, fuck, shit. I didn't really want that. I just wanted you to show up when you said you would. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a kinder way to go about it, and it has to do with starting with you, not because it's you're to blame or your responsibility for other people, like you're responsible for other people's behavior. It's like I'm responsible for my expectations and my standards and drawing a line when I feel like something is being violated, you know? So just throwing it out there because there's big fucking victory available to you. Big victory. And yes, it's like a mighty undertaking, but if you can have fun with it, if you can remember why you wanted it in the first place, this is showing up as the potential. Your reading is full of fire. Full of fire. Fire and earth, and a little bit of water. Not too many swords, thankfully. You've got more to do. You've got further to go. And if you notice, you know, the Six of Wands, that victory card, is Jason, from Jason and the Argonauts, holding up the golden fleece, which is basically the stand-in for the thing that I want. So the thing that you want, right, Scorpio? And in the future, we have the Ten of Wands, where we can also see, like, the golden fleece is still there. The battle is still won, but damn, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. So I want to tell you to try to bring things into balance. That's what that Two of Pentacles is about. Gentle shifting. And same thing with the Page of Pentacles. Like, I'm not going to burn myself out. I'm not going to push through these crappy feelings or like this feeling like disenchanted or whatever. I'm going to actually like go within and be with me and be like, what do I really want? Do I even really want this anymore? Because maybe for some of you, it's like, damn, part of the reason I'm feeling exhausted is like, I don't really want this anymore, and I might be holding on to it out of some kind of pride, when really there's something else over there that I really want. And that's what they're telling me for some of you is like, this Two of Wands, he's a seeker much like the Fool is, of wisdom, of new experience. And the Two of Wands also says to me, Scorpio, that you have a lot of valuable experience and you can take that a lot further, especially with the Ten of Wands in your future, which again, yes, is a card of like being overburdened and burnt out. But if you're upgrading all the way from like the Two of Wands of possibilities of Ten of Wands of like, oh my God, like it's not just possibilities, it's responsibilities. You're handing me this whole project. You're handing me this whole thing. You're handing me this promotion. Like, damn, that's a lot to take on. For some of you, it's like, hey, I'm Scorpio, I'm intense, like, bring it on. Bring on the, like, you're thinking maybe it's too much for me to handle? I'll show you whether it's too much for me to handle. Like, hasn't been yet. Know what I'm saying? So what's going on, Scorpio? It looks like you're happy about it. It looks like something that you've been wanting is showing signs of coming to be, even if it's a little bit stressful this month. Take care of you. Take extra care. Do things like write things down so that you're not like, oh my God, I can't forget that I need to take care of this. I need to do that. I need to, because then you get kind of like stuck in your head. Write things down. Some priority lists. Bring things into balance. Something beautiful is growing, but it needs you to bring things into balance and to open up to these new possibilities so that it can take root and branch out. Like you, Scorpio. Okay, tell me, what's going on with you? Questions, comments? Let me know. If you ever need a personal reading, that info is below as well. I really appreciate you, Scorpio, and I hope that this helps you have that new adventure and bring things into balance and get out of any old grooves that might be feeling a little bit oppressive at this point. Have that student mindset. Be the Fool. Go for it. Lean in. Love you, Scorpio. Thank you for being here. And if I don't see you before then I hope I see you in your November reading. Bye, Scorpio.